Hey everybody, how's it going? This is the Imperial Remnant broadcast brought to you by Fandom Empire on the Fandom Empire YouTube channel. It is December the 1st, just after 9 o'clock Eastern Time here just outside Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And it's going to be a fun episode tonight as we obviously focus in on that magical episode from last week. Joining me tonight, first up, co-hosts of the Rogue Sons, a Star Wars podcast. It's Kieran and Thaden. How's it going, boys?
I don't know if we're really a podcast anymore. We haven't been able to do anything in the last couple weeks.
We will be.
I really want
We'll
to.
We'll find a way to do it digital.
Yeah, this pandemic thing is taking our jobs.
It's screwed with us for sure.
But yeah,
but we're doing well, I think.
Yeah, I told everybody it's part of our fan base to come tune in here because we're still able to do this. So.
Yeah.
What is this? I look all blurry. What kind of camera did you give me here?
You look good on my screen.
Thanks.
Anyways, yeah, I think we're doing well. I'm doing well. I've had lots of projects that are due, but I actually got ahead on some of them. It was great. Now I'm using my spare time to fall back behind. It's awesome.
I'm distracted by Kieran's fucking hair today. If he took the Grey's Anatomy comments Jade's been saying, like, for real, because he looks like he's cosplaying Patrick Dempsey at the moment. Your hair has never once looked like that since being here, ever. It's always usually under a hat or under a robe or messy, but you look rather well kept today, sir.
My hair is growing longer, so I have to, like, in the morning make sure, like, I brush it back. Otherwise, it goes, like, really, like a fro. Actually, you know what? We did when we did our show. I don't know if it was what was the last show we did that was a Halloween one? It was just a Friday episode, right? We just did a chat.
Yeah, something like that.
So someone in the group chat called me Seth Rogen. So I got called lots of awesome things like Richard Gere and Patrick Dempsey, and then I showed up with my hair messed up, and they were like, "That guy looks like Seth Rogen," and so yeah, I'll have my hair done from now on because that's bad. You don't want to look like Seth Rogen. You want to be as funny as Seth Rogen. You don't want to look like Seth Rogen.
I don't know. I mean, I think Seth Rogen's...
Well, if you're Sean, it's okay to look like Seth Rogen.
I mean, what the hell is that supposed to mean? I mean, I was just simply saying I think Seth...
Well, you seem to think it's okay.
I mean, I think Seth Rogen, is, sort of doable, but that's a story for a different day.
You keep your opinions close to the cock and don't tell us.
I'm sorry. I thought you said Kieran was the one that's high tonight.
Oh, no. Before I came down here, I definitely went outside to partake in said things, hence why Kieran's driving you home tonight and not me. Yeah, no, actually, I'm struggling from some dental pain, which is not fun, so I probably won't nearly be as gabby as normal. Also joining us this evening, this time he's not taking a sip of something. Frank Riker's like, and now I leave? He must have heard the Seth Rogen thing. Tommy, we cut to you without, your mouth being on something. I think it was you. We kept having that.
I'm currently drinking tea out of a festively decorated Star Wars mug.
Oh, from
Easter eyes on the
mug.
Imperial symbols. Yes, I got this from Target a few years back as a present, which unfortunately I don't think you all have access to because
they were the biggest retail failure in Canadian history.
Yeah.
I have to say, when you were holding your mug there from a distance before you put it close up, it looked like Pac-Man on there. What are the little guys that you go around trying to eat to energize you? What are they called?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Pac-Man going around eating the ghosts and the dots and all that cool stuff.
I didn't see any cherries on that mug. You can't
cool
eat
mug.
You can't eat the ghost without eating the cherries first. Have you guys never played Pac-Man? Come on.
I have.
Anybody remember Miss Pac-Man?
Of course I do.
Yeah, they've only made half a dozen different basic versions of that original game, maybe more.
I had Miss Pac-Man before I had Pac-Man.
Anytime anyone mentions Miss Pac-Man, I think of Wayne's World, where he's like, well, what the difference is she has a bow, and he holds up a card that says, this man has no penis.
My go-to is the Brooklyn Nine-Nine Halloween episode.
Which one?
Is it Pac-Man? There's one every year, so yeah, but there's one involving Pac-Man?
There was one where Charles was dressed up, and
Oh, God.
and they said he looked like Miss Pac-Man's nipple.
Oh, yeah.
And Charles called
And he's
that
like,
that
"No,
he's the
those
wrong
are
color.
brown."
Exactly.
Ugh.
Well, also joining
always
us
think about
on
Seinfeld.
what's a interesting start to the show. It's Johnny. I was going to go to you last, but you had something in your mouth, and it looks like you still have something in your mouth.
He was the one who kept doing it last week.
Well, last week it was a slice of pizza, so it was far more awkward.
Oh, it was Johnny last
to
week.
try
That's
and work
right.
through it. Like, I put the piece of pizza in my
And
mouth, and
every
that's when he
week.
decides to introduce me. Like, come on, dude.
Here's Johnny. Watch him enjoy this slice of pizza.
Like, that's going to be the new theme. What's Johnny eating for the intro this week? Because you only see the intro me when I'm putting food in my mouth.
And what was it this week?
It is potato chips and dip.
We got some hell of a dip here.
Some hell of a dip. Not for this guy, though. This guy gets to just sort of watch them eat from over top the screen.
You can. There's 2 bags here.
No, I most certainly can't.
That sounded very awkward the way you said that. Like, very stalker-ish.
Like I'm watching you eat from a distance,
Exactly.
listening to the crunch.
This is our Star Wars show, not our Halloween show.
I don't even think that's Halloween. That sounds more like, what is that? Is it you? That
Friday night. That's the Friday night show.
I mean, I think Kieran and I could be living that one out with the chips and the dip. You know, easily be mistaked for that. As long as nobody double dips, we're fine.
Just so everyone's aware, I'm not sure if the stream's going super smooth at the moment or not. But I am getting some feedback here, not from like vocal feedback, but from from YouTube saying
It did stall for a moment, but I kind of refreshed and it was good.
Awesome. So don't be afraid to push that button.
I'm just shocked you just passed up the opportunity at the Seinfeld joke.
I'm out of it, dude.
Since I just, opened it up with a double dipping reference.
Oh, you double dip the chip.
Nobody's double dipped the chip yet. That's why I said, so long as nobody double dips, we're good.
One dip
Someone actually
and done.
Someone actually did disprove that.
I think it was Mythbusters, probably.
Yeah, like when you dip it, like none of your saliva from the chip will get in there because it gets covered with the dip that ends up coming out with the chip.
Oh.
So you can
triple dip the chip.
If you're smart, you can double dip the chip all you want, but like people will probably be like, it's disgusting.
It's just bad ethics to double
Yeah.
dip. I mean, take enough dip on the first, dip to eat the whole chip. It's not like these chips are really huge. Okay, they're tiny potato chips or other tiny objects. Like, it's not like, these things are like the size of your fist. Like, come on, man. Have some equity. Like, you don't need that much dip to watch. Your dip to chip ratio is so far off if you have to double dip the chip that it's ridiculous and you shouldn't do it.
Your dip to chip ratio.
We'll get to talking Star Wars eventually.
We'll get
I
there.
don't know.
We'll
I
get
think
there.
This is a chip podcast now.
I do not suck my fingers after each chip, right? Who does that after each chip?
So what's a good ratio though? After how many chips should you be sucking the fingers? Like
When there is enough that you can physically see the chip residue on your fingertips.
When you're done.
Now it's much. Or when you're done,
wash your
much,
hands.
But first you got to get that extra flavor off your fingertips. Otherwise, you're just wasting
Yeah,
flavor.
pretty fucking
But but wash your
disgusting.
hands after you suck your fingers.
Well, of course you do.
wait,
Come on.
hang on, time out. Tommy, you mean to tell me, and the camera is on you right now, sir, you have never had, I don't know, pizza or Doritos or nachos or chips and dip, and you've never done you suck something off the tip of your finger? You've never, ever put your tongue to your hand. And I know everyone's screaming, oh my God, pandemic shit right now.
I'm not going to straight up lie to you and say that I won't get the flavor off or, whatever. I'm
So
just
you
saying
do
it's
say
kind of
you suck
weird
your
hearing
finger.
Other people talking about it in such detail.
I'm just always wondering like how we can get some more fans into this, and I think Frank might belong to some secret group of people who just like to watch people eat things and lick their fingers. So like if that's true,
I think that group's not secret.
we will do. We could do a show on Saturdays maybe where we just eat shit and lick our fingers.
Eat shit and lick our fingers.
Yeah, I don't know doing that.
Wow.
That's the late.
I meant the general food by saying shit.
It's the only fan show.
Yeah.
What OnlyFans accounts are you subscribing to, pal?
I mean, our own. We're going to be on there eating shit and licking fingers.
I will not be on that OnlyFans channel. Eat food and lick your fingers? I'm for that. You know?
Only one of you guys has known me for that long.
Anything is food if you eat it.
Sort of thing.
This is true. This is true. Anything is food if you eat it. That's cutting it. Never mind. I'm not going there again.
Hey, what's the first topic today?
The first topic today is
we're going to talk about blue milk.
Is it appropriate to lick your fingers while having a glass of milk? Maybe you spill a little, test the temperature.
What makes it blue? Like,
how do you get someone to get the blue off your fingers? Do you suck it off? Do they?
This doesn't go for questions. Sorry, Tommy and Thaden, you guys are excluded from this last comment. But for Johnny, Kieran, and myself, I feel like this is cut. This is where you cross the line. Frank says he sucks the dip off his beard. Waste not. What's this?
Waste not, want not.
I mean, I guess if you were to get the dip in your own beard and lick it out, it's really no different than licking your lips because you got like sauce on your lip.
I used to, when I was younger, had like
we develop a system where everyone, it's like a buddy system. Everyone has a buddy who has a beard, and they suck the dip off the next person's beard. I'm now getting disgusting. In your mouth. That would be gross.
I'm getting disgusting visuals
in about 5 minutes.
I'm getting disgusting visuals from biker bars all of a sudden. Like,
oh my god! Oh,
now,
poor
Star
Kieran.
Wars. Did it work? Can we go to Star Wars now?
Alrighty. What's coming up this week, actually? I'll tell you an event that we have coming up this Thursday. Johnny, Tommy, myself, and possibly Toronto Freddy are going to be sitting down discussing the final 3 episodes of Supernatural, how they brought a series to the end, or the series to the end. And then on December 17th, we're doing a bit of a Fandom Empire Christmas party where a bunch of people that were part of the movie and a couple others are going to get on here and just have a blast, as the Flintstones would say, a gay old time. But anyway,
people still say that in 2020.
I love the Flintstones, so I'll I'm a Flintstones guy more than a Jetsons guy. That's just me.
Acceptable.
Anyways, let's dive into it. And this week,
clearly not talking about this dip.
No, I'm dipless. I'd have to lick it off my fingers. This week, we get to the news, and there's not much of it.
On my life has left me scarred and deformed, but I assure you, my resolve has never been stronger. In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first Galactic Empire for a safe and secure society.
All right. Well, we don't have this one in the show notes, but it's been making rounds basically everywhere. Is finally, after I think it's been 8.5 years, an episode of Star Wars Detours leaked, and I'm not going to tell you where you can get it from because we're not here to point those things out. I'm sure you can still find it somewhere. But I loved it. I thought it was great. I think that this show should have been a thing. They did 2 seasons of it. Disney's the one that put the axe to it and wouldn't let it be released because it sort of looks at the Star Wars world tongue-in-cheek with its own characters, and I don't know, have some thicker skin and have some fun with it. I also felt like I was watching an episode of Reboot at a moment. Don't know if any of you guys are old, remember Reboot, but it was decent.
You just insulted Reboot.
Oh, you watched it and didn't like it, huh?
It was fucking terrible.
What?
It was the worst. I'm glad that never saw air.
Wow. I hope Disney Plus continues to be starved for content and releases both seasons.
Oh yeah, no, it's not like they're coming out with 5 shows later.
I loved it. I think it's cool, but
Yeah, Reboot was pretty awesome, but we're talking about Star Wars.
Reboot was good till it got dumb.
Reboot
it did get dumb.
Awesome.
You're just wrong. Even the new series wasn't that awful.
I didn't watch the new series.
I haven't seen the new series, but the original was awesome, and they did get to a lot of like parodies and things like that were, they were always still good, but it
The
seemed
new
like
series explains
yeah,
the Matrix, and that's actually pretty cool.
that's cool.
Anyway,
Reboot's good. Star Wars Detour sucks.
oh man. So as you guys know, we talked about doing Heir to the Empire, the Mark Thompson audiobook here on the channel. We'll be taking a 2-week hiatus starting, I don't have the date right in front of me, but I believe the 22nd is our last show, 21st or 22nd. And then we're off till January 7th. And when we come back January 7th, we'll be talking about Heir to the Empire. Now, we have not started yet. We haven't talked about starting yet. Tonight didn't go quite as planned, but you can look forward to that. Once Mando's over, we'll be focusing in on that, and you can get that on Audible, and actually a couple other places have it for sale too online. So you're looking for the one that's narrated by Mark Thompson, the unabridged version. Just fantastic. Can't wait to do that. So you have that to look forward to. And now I guess in the rumor front, I had to bring this up just to see Kieran's response. There's a rumor going around that Darth Maul may be coming back again, and that again, I wouldn't say anywhere. This isn't coming from places like we got this covered. This isn't coming from anywhere like we got this covered. It's actually coming from a couple of places that have a decent track record. But I just, the shtick is he'd come back around the time of The Mandalorian. It turns out that this Maul's a clone. May or may not know that he's a clone. I love Darth Maul, but I hope this is really false. Like, just let it be. I thought the character ended in a good place. We'll save the best for last. Thaden, is this a good idea or a dumb idea? I'm going to be negative here and say dumb.
It's really stupid, yeah. I would really hate it if they brought Darth Maul back again. I'm not quite to the same extent of hating him. I don't hate him like Kieran, but I don't love that they brought him back just because he's cool. That is kind of weird.
Could you imagine a Maul and Boba Fett like buddy cop series?
That could actually happen.
Oh man.
Oh, but like if he comes back by being cloned, that is definitely 100% just because he's cool, and they were like, yeah, but we want to bring him back. He'll make money and stuff.
Right?
I hate that. It would be so bad. Just the idea of it. Even if they do it great, I would hate that it exists. So, yeah.
I love Maul, but I that would be just
not on board for this.
I'm with you.
I hope it's false.
Tommy?
There are so many other characters they can go to for dark side force users or antagonists or whatever. Look, I've loved Darth Maul since I saw The Phantom Menace in the theaters. I have absolutely no desire to see him cheat death, meaning his death at the hands of Kenobi one last time. I have no desire to see that. I think his death was pretty interesting. It did leave some unanswered questions, like, well, just what did that line of dialogue mean? Maybe it's unveiled a little more in the comics that I haven't read, haven't really researched into. But yeah, I have no desire to see a Maul clone. I have no desire to see a fully mecha Maul. I just leave him dead. You know, if we want to pull more from the EU, from the Legends universe, there are tons of characters you could tap in to come and be Inquisitors or whatever. Just not necessary.
Agreed. Very much agreed. Johnny?
Say clone one more time.
Buddy, if you don't like the whole clone thing, you're not going to like any of these series that are coming.
I'm tired of clone being used as a catch-all. You know, and that's what it's become in Star Wars. It's a catch-all. You know, and I hate that. You know, clones meant something once. You know, they were important. Now they're just, well, you know what? I have this idea and it'd be cool if Maul would do it. So let's make a clone. Let's make a clone of this character. Let's make a clone of that character. Let's make everybody a clone. What is this, Westworld? You know, I'm tired of clones being used as a catch-all. You know, it makes characters' deaths and ending of their stories meaningless when you keep cloning them back into existence. You know, Rise of Skywalker made Return of the Jedi less meaningful. You know, because Palpatine's death means less because he's cloned and he's still around and he's still kicking. And a Maul clone makes his story
double less.
Exactly, because you already went through the death in Phantom Menace. I say death, you know, with air quotes, because obviously it wasn't, but his assumed death, and you bring him back because he's cool and the fans love him, and that's fine. That's okay. I didn't hate that so much because they made it work within the story. You know, was it as good? Did it take away some of that epicness of the duel in Phantom Menace? A little bit, but that duel was still so big that it didn't hurt it in the long run. But then that would ruin his death the second time, which was meaningful.
Yeah, it was meaningful. Not to mention, like, could you imagine? I was iffy on them bringing Maul back to life anyways, because we've seen the guy, not only did he get cut in half, who knows how far down he fell, but, like, think of not getting Sam Witwer's performance as Maul. Like, that character would mean so much less today than it used to. All right, we've waited long enough to get this guy's take on it. If he's pissed about it, I don't blame him, because this is a stupid idea. Kieran?
To kind of quote the movie Half-Baked, not going to do what everyone thinks I'm going to do and freak out. Look, here's the thing. It's dumb for all the reasons that you said it was dumb, and it's extra dumb for many more reasons. Like, if anyone cannot figure out that they just want to sell action figures, and you keep on talking about how great this character, who has not really anything that great about him, like, you know what? I challenge people all the time on Facebook, on, you know, various Star Wars platforms to tell me why Boba Fett or Darth Maul are great. And I almost no one ever gets past, well, they look pretty cool.
Here, I'll do you one. I'll do you one. I'm with you on Fett. Fett's very overrated.
Definitely he stands a lot more because they did a lot more to make Maul cool, but go ahead.
Your point would be 110% right if Sam Witwer never played the character, but I think all of Maul's... I mean, the Phantom Menace duel, like the movie or not, is amazing. But when that's the only thing that you really do in that entire movie, because he wasn't played by an actual actor, you know, it limits him. But when Witwer got a hold of the character and worked with Filoni on it, I thought Maul has a lot of great moments, but live action... no, he doesn't. And I mean, the Solo thing is like much of a mind fuck that was when it happened. It was still kind of like, wait, didn't I just watch you die like 3 weeks ago in Star Wars Rebels. Like, yeah.
Yeah, when he that's the other thing. They gave him an amazing death. It's so, like, not only is it awesome the way it happens, and awesome that it happens guarding Luke, and it makes it kind of a key point, linking it to the original trilogy, which is awesome, and we get to see him get killed by an older Obi-Wan Kenobi, which makes him seem more powerful. I think, like, that was all great. I was so happy with the way that Darth Maul died. And even if I did like the character, that was like a really great moment. And it's explained so many ways how Obi-Wan used the same moves, and because Obi-Wan evolved as a lightsaber duelist, and Maul was still as shit as he ever was, he died. So yeah, they ruined the perfect ending, and like, beyond me just yelling about how stupid Darth Maul is, if I just pretend I like him right now too, then I would also be pissed because they took away the perfect ending. And I don't know, if he's a clone, that's just, like, everyone knows the two dumbest things to do is make clones and make time travel, because they're the easiest fucking...
And both are in Star Wars.
You know what? Any property that grows as big as Star Wars is going to have one or both of them in it. Yeah. But if you want to keep using it over and over again, I mean, that's the way to say, like, oh man, this show was really great 50 years ago, but how are we going to make it relevant today? Time travel.
Not everyone can be Doctor Who.
Yeah,
valid points, man. Valid points. That said, guys, let's keep this ball
Darth
rolling.
Maul.
Let's move on to our light speed countdown. All right, it's light speed countdown time, and I decided to pick something which is obviously really dear to me on my in my heart, and that's the sequel trilogy. And we're doing our top 5 moments of the sequel trilogy. We're gonna start with Tommy, and then we're gonna go Thaden, Kieran, myself, and Johnny. So Tommy, Thaden, Kieran, myself, and Johnny. We're gonna give our 5 and our. Is it 5, 4, 3 and then 1, 2, or 5, 4?
We've been doing 5, 4, 3.
5, 4, 3. So 5, 4, 3 to start. Go ahead, Tommy.
Okay, number 5. I came in at the Holdo maneuver. I thought it wasn't really super surprising by the time you saw events unfold, but I just thought it was a cool event. It kind of stuck with me from the film. Number 4, I came in at what I wrote down as, Rey and Ben, the final battle. You see them come together, both have the blue lightsabers, both are gearing up for that final battle. Not their final battle, together. And number 3, I came in at the throne room battle. I might not be the biggest fan of the direction the story went with it, but it was a pretty badass fighting scene, so that earned the number 3 spot on my list.
All righty, Thaden, give us your 5, 4, 3, man.
My number 5 was kind of hard to pick. It was this, or I like the I Am All the Jedi, but I went with the Holdo maneuver. It was a cool, like, you see it coming because it's like, of course, she's gonna ram the ship once you kind of figure that out, but then it like screws them over so bad because they have this big giant ship and it rips apart their whole fleet with the debris. It's so cool, or like half their fleet. My number 4, I literally just wrote, "Hi, Dad." It's when Han comes back in Rise of Skywalker. I did not for a second expect to see Harrison Ford come back, and the way it was done was just like perfect. I don't love that duel. I don't love how it ended. I don't love how Leia died, but that part right after the duel is so good. And my number 3, I put Snoke's death / that whole fight. Snoke's death is something I predicted like well before the movie came out, which was awesome. And I was really happy to see it. And the way it happened was done with some cool foreshadowing, with the way Snoke is talking about like he's turning the blade to strike his true enemy. And then the whole fight was like crazy fan service, and it was badass.
And then you found out that Snoke wasn't actually Snoke, but was actually Palpatine, but Snoke was a failed clone, and yada, yada, yada. And
Hey, don't interrupt
He
the
was never
man's
a
list.
character anyways.
I'll say this, though. For the people that love The Last Jedi, I hate for them what followed. Because if you love that movie, The Rise of Skywalker definitely at times tries to
I like
away.
Rise of Skywalker, but some of the stuff it does, it's clearly like JJ. He didn't want to totally rewrite Rian Johnson's stuff, but he wanted to also put his stuff in there.
Yeah,
it's weird. But yeah, anyways.
It is. And yeah, I thought that was it for you. That was number 3 for you, right?
That was number 3.
Yeah. All right. Fuck you, Kieran. All right, go ahead, Kieran.
Perfect. All right, let's just pull it up here. All right, so my moments are not always like especially important moments in the film, but just things that I like really popped for. Number 5 was Kylo stopping the blaster bolt at the very beginning of The Force Awakens. I thought that was amazing, and that really teed up the character for being really powerful for me. And I know a lot of people don't think that Kylo Ren showed his power too much and was just, I don't know, a whiny character, or I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't see him as powerful, but like, who the fuck can do that? Like, he was just like, no. And he held it there for a long time. I don't know. I really thought, like, I really popped when I saw that start of the movie. It was great. My number 4 is Han's scene where he is trying to talk his way out of the Kanja Club gang and the what's the other gangs called? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
The Guavian Death Gang.
Yes,
yeah, the Guavian Death Gang. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just being like, you know, the whole line where he's like, yeah, I talk my way out. Yes, I do. Every time. And the whole thing where he's like, you already screwed us over twice. And then he's like, what was the second time? It's just like such a great dialogue at that part. It's amazing. And that's where you really, like, I fell in love with that because it was so obviously, like, best written, like, awesome written Han lines that really brought him back as a character. It wasn't like they were just going to throw him in there and you were going to be like, man, that's not really Han Solo. It was really Han Solo. So, and actually kind of the same sort of thing for me. Yoda destroying the Jedi library or I don't know what you think about it, but the whole library lights on fire because of the storm, and he says like, don't worry about it. And the reason I love this was because it brought Yoda back to the same way that I felt about him in the original trilogy, which, I mean, makes sense because when you go back to him in the prequel trilogy, then he's younger and he's right in the thick of things as a Jedi Master. But when you meet him in The Empire Strikes Back, he's like wise, but in a way that's like goofy and carefree.
Cankerous old man.
Yeah, like he's just, it's, I mean, obviously Luke meets him and is like, I'm looking for a Jedi Master, and he's like never considers that it's this Yoda guy who's leading him around, or well, he doesn't know it's Yoda, but you know, he's like, it's not this guy who's like goofing around.
Just little green backpack.
Yeah, like, yeah. So, and that's, it really rounded the character back. It really brought him back to that. It just sort of like, don't worry, we fucked up, but don't worry, the Force is cool. It's not a big deal. And I thought that was really important for me.
Number 5 for me was Han's death. I mean, I knew it was coming, but it, I don't know, just something about seeing him fall away there into, you basically see his silhouette sinking and the touch of the face, and just like, even in that moment, even though his kid just stabbed him in the heart and he knows he's going to die, still loves his kid. And that was pretty badass for me. Number 4 for me is Luke on the mountain at the end of The Force Awakens, finally getting to see him. The promise of another adventure and how amazing he looked. And number 3, you kind of already said it, Kieran, but basically Kylo Ren's first entire scene. Like, that whole sequence is badass. I remember saying to Johnny, this is the best opening to a Star Wars movie I've ever seen. And Yeah, no, completely blown away by that. So
You were genuinely afraid of stormtroopers, which, I mean, they weren't stormtroopers,
Right.
but they were the new stormtroopers, and you didn't really know much about them at the time. But yeah,
They
you
could
were like,
hit what they were aiming for.
yeah, you were like, fuck, these guys are killing people and burning them. Like, what the hell?
Johnny.
All right, I guess that comes to me, and oh man, I'm not usually the one that says honorable mention, but honorable mention. That's not how the Force works. My number 5 is the Falcon flies again. You know, when they get in the cockpit of the Falcon on Jakku and they go on that desert escape run, and you know, it looked amazing flying through the Star Destroyer, and everything about that was just amazing. My number 4, I Am All the Jedi. It just, I don't know, the moment was powerful in an otherwise powerless movie. Is, I guess, the best way to describe it for me as a fan. You know, I enjoyed that moment, hearing all the different voices of the Jedis of the past and that history, and I really enjoyed that moment. Number 3 for me is, I wrote it down, Ben Returns, or Hey Kid. You know, Ben becoming Ben again after being Kylo for so long, and seeing the ghost of his father, and, you know, coming back to that shred of his humanity that, you know, he tried to run away from and escape from for so long, that finally came back. And, you know, and it was a good scene in, again, an otherwise not great film.
I love the Han return scene. I know, Johnny, did you and I talk about that one before it happened? Mm-mm. Okay, Tommy and I did, though. I
didn't know about it.
Tommy and I, I'm pretty sure, talked pretty extensively about Han returning in The Rise of Skywalker long before the movie came out, like probably 4 or 5 months before it came out. And I was really excited, but I was worried about how they would do it. And then, yeah, that was awesome. The one that I just can't agree with so far is the I Am the Jedi thing. I wanted to puke. And it's not because of a Rey thing. I actually like the Rey character. I don't know. I hated Palpatine's version too. I am all the Sith. It's like, that's not how the Sith work. It isn't, and it's really not how the Jedi work either. And I don't know. Wow. Anyway, back over to Tommy. Give us your 2-in-1, man. Your penultimate and your winner chicken dinner.
Yeah. First, I just want to clarify something. I forgot about the Force Awakens opening.
Mm-hmm.
That probably should have been on my list instead
There's
of
no
the
changing.
final. Well, it's too late to change now, but that probably should have been on my list. But we didn't have the assignment for long, so whatever. For my number 2, I put down the Luke on Crate and the escape of the Resistance. It's a love it or hate it scene. Given how the movie went, you know, I might not like the way Luke Skywalker died, but I don't really like the way that the whole sequel trilogy handled his character after the Return of the Jedi anyway. It's a much bigger problem than the sequel trilogy, although it stems from it. So I thought it was a pretty cool scene. You see, you know, a sort of redemption of the Jedi Master after he cut himself off from the Force. He's using this fancy freaking power we've never seen before. And now I'm choking on peanuts. And yeah, he kicks ass.
Make sure you lick your fingers
kicks
after
ass
those
by
peanuts,
not kicking
buddy.
ass. And my number 1, I came in at shockingly, because it was number 5 on your list, Sean, the death of Han Solo.
Mm-hmm.
If I think of a scene of the sequel trilogy that was the most powerful, stuck with me the most to this day, it's the death of Han Solo. We all, well, many of us knew it was coming. We heard the leaks. We heard the speculation. The way it was played out, though, beyond freaking powerful. Seeing that in the theaters the 2 times I think it was that I did, freaking powerful. Nowhere else I would have rather been on opening night when I saw that scene. Yeah.
It's powerful, no doubt. Thaden, your penultimate and your chicken dinner, man.
my number 2 is actually the same as Tommy's. I wrote specifically, it's Luke when he does the brushes off his shoulder thing, or like when he starts walking out there, I guess. But I like the brush on the shoulder. To when when Kylo stabs his projection. Luke was like awesome in that. He fights by not fighting at all, and he beats Kylo by doing that, and he like becomes a true Jedi by just laying down his weapons and sacrificing himself for the hope for the entire galaxy. It's so good, and it looks really nice. Crate is cool, plus all the cool, like, you can't see the salt move when Luke walks around, and he has the blue lightsaber and stuff like that. I like all that stuff. And number 1, I put the lightsaber trick. I don't know if anyone else calls it this, but Rey putting the saber behind her back and then it's gone and Ben has it. I love that part so much because it uses the whole dyad thing really, really well, which was started from The Last Jedi and then it develops in Rise of Skywalker. And I thought that was like the perfect like culmination of that ability and their connection together. And I like Rey and Kylo a lot anyways. And yeah, I don't know. It was like a really, really cool moment. And I remember like seeing her go to do it and I was like, what's happening? And then that happened and I was like, oh my God. So yeah, that was really cool. Even if the fight afterwards wasn't amazing, I think it's good for what it is. They're just, both of their fights are way too short.
I have seen criticism on that too, over like, well, that's like how does that exist or whatever? But like it happened earlier when they
set it up for the whole movie.
There was the part where
he rips her necklace off.
And she was in Kylo's room or whatever, and then he was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
And the water in The Last Jedi too.
Yeah. So like it was kind of set up, but people seem to always forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my surprising number 1. It's not from The Last Jedi.
That was the first time they'd done it in the same room.
Yeah,
physically.
They were far away, but in the same location. Yeah.
Same area. Yeah.
Go ahead, Kieran.
I don't want to leave my phone open on here because it's also got my questions. I'm actually going to audible for this last one, and I'm going to switch, and I'm also going to cheat. I just want to say it's a lot of Finn's lines that are from TFA, which really set up what I thought was going to be an amazing character. I love when he's talking to Han about going to find Rey, and then Han sees Rey, and he does this little thing like trying to nod him. He's like, What's this? What's that thing? And then also the like, that's not how the Force works type. And like they set up Finn so great with so many great lines, and I thought he was a fantastic actor there in TFA. And then it just didn't continue, which was sad. Happened? Yeah, that's for me, that's the greatest downfall of the other 2 movies. I mean, he's all right in the last Jedi, but he's like almost non-existent to me.
I think they like set him up to come back and like be actually into the Resistance in The Last Jedi, because by the end of The Force Awakens, he still wasn't. It was just for Rey the whole time. But then they kind of follow through with it in Rise of Skywalker, but he's doing a lot of side stuff still. He's just a companion with Rey.
It's just not memorable.
No, it's not in either movie, in my opinion.
I remember the last time I saw him like riding outside the wing and stuff like that, and then I was like, oh yeah, that happens in this movie. The last time I watched, like, I totally blanked on the idea that even happened. So I was like, oh. But
you're so right, though. I loved Finn in TFA. I thought he was amazing.
They were setting up a great character.
And just, there's a reason Boyega's leaving pissed off, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
It looked really great, and then they followed through like a Shaq free throw.
Yeah.
Oh.
And my last one is, I think I've talked about this before on this show. I've definitely talked on my own podcast before, but with Rey and Kylo fighting the Praetorian Guard is my number 1.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I was so enamored with those Red Guard guys. Like, I was just like, oh, those guys fucking kick ass. I know it. You never see it, but I know they kick ass. Like, I just want to see them fight people.
This is your Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Except it's a bunch of characters.
Look at the way they
It's as
stand in
close as
front
it
of those
gets for you.
doors.
Hey, they're wearing red. They have to be cooler than those regular white dudes wearing white because they've got their own color.
Yeah.
It's like the Black Death Troopers, right? They're special because they're wearing a different color.
I'm like kind of pissed that they didn't said that, but I'm like, oh fuck, it might be true.
He's looking in the mirror.
However, if that guy,
It's true.
if
all of it.
If that guy died, that it's not the same. It's not the same. Fuck you. Can I leave now?
And you're number one? Was the
that
Praetorian
my
Guard?
number one.
Yeah, I mean, the fight is awesome when you watch it. The only thing that's not, I don't know if I talked about this as well before. There's a scene where, and it made it to the movie, but one of the guys stabs Rey in the back.
Oops.
And they had to take the special effects off of the knife so that you don't see it. So it's hilarious. If you watch it in slow-mo, there's one part where like the guy goes behind her and he's like, ugh, and stabs her. And you can see her her maybe not chest, but like her midsection go forward because she's been poked in the back.
I think we lost Aiden.
Oh yeah, we don't need him anyways.
He's a bum.
Yeah. The Praetorian Guard fight, really, I don't know, I was like super excited when I saw that, and it was great.
My number two, hang on, I'm going to see if I can send, is he... Oh, maybe he is there. He's just very frozen. There we go. He's back. All right. My number two is Han Solo's return. His return to Star Wars. So when he first appears in The Force Awakens, and it's not just the Chewie, we're home line, but rather when he's walking through the Falcon and they get him to stop and talk about Luke, and it's like, yeah, I knew Luke. And like, he just looks so heartbroken because shit would have went down over Ben and Kylo between Han and Luke. And we don't know what. We'll probably never know what, sadly. But I loved the way he delivered it. It was, something seriously bad had just happened, basically. And my number one, stunningly, is from The Last Jedi. And that is the Luke moment on Crate, And it's not just the flick of the shoulder, which I thought might have been even a little too much. It's when he's walking through where the resistance is, and it's like, for that moment, right there, at that time, it's like, oh, hey, yeah, there's a Jedi Master, and he's literally walking out there to go take on an army by himself. And despite everything the movie done at that point, I was like, you know what? This is badass. The musical cue finally is badass, because I didn't think there was a good one in that movie to that point. Even like the Rey and Kylo battling the Praetorian Guards, different music selection during that. And I think it might have even been more epic. That should have been their Duel of Fates. Not necessarily that song, but anyway, just Luke walking out there, he's a badass.
Mind is blown.
Complete badass. And then, though, they go and fucking ruin it by him being a Vision. And the reason why...
should he have shown up to go get shot?
Well, it would have been cool if he had some sort of... We seen Starkiller bring down a friggin' Star Destroyer. Why can't Luke create a force bubble to survive that?
That was Legends.
But look at everything of Legends they're bringing back.
Now, boys, play nicely.
Yoda used Force Lightning as a Force Ghost.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I feel like that was weather.
This is the
lightning.
perfect Sean number one. This is the perfect Sean number one, being like, you know what? It's from The Last Jedi, but it also sucks.
Well, it could have been even better if Luke actually showed up.
You thought he Grecian 5'd his hair and found his old lightsaber?
No, I knew that.
Showed up though, he would have just gotten shot, and then they would have gone in the base quicker.
The thing that pisses me off is when Rian Johnson was asked about this, he says, "Well, he couldn't have shown up after the Falcon left. His X-wing wasn't usable." You can
I'm
literally.
pretty sure that's supposed to be true in The Last Jedi, but then.
Yeah,
JJ
because like
changed
the whole
that.
fucking wing operates as Luke's door to his
Yeah.
hut or whatever, and it's like X-wing looks pretty okay to me. I still love the moment, but I don't like the whole let's teleport. You kind of like Kieran. I don't know if Kieran was saying this off air or on air about the time travel and like that's what it feels like, the whole dyad thing, that the dyad and the force visions or illusions or whatever. I think it's a big cop out, and that said, I love that moment. Like, they killed that moment. That moment was amazing. So, Johnny, I think you're it, right?
Thanks for making me follow that.
Follow that up, yeah.
All right, my number 2 is very specifically, it's Yoda and Luke, the Blu-ray version, not the theatrical version, because the theatrical version looked like dog shit. Okay? Yoda looked like ass. All right, it was awful. And then you put the Blu-ray out, and I'm watching it for the first time on Blu-ray with the family, and it's like, oh, thank God, it actually looks like Yoda. So, Yoda and Luke, the Blu-ray version, because A, it looked like Yoda, and B, it was just an all-around awesome moment. You know, Yoda, like Kieran said, it was Yoda being Yoda again. You know, we got this flippy-dippy Jedi Master in the prequels, and then we get the old cantankerous Yoda in the sequel trilogy, and then we get back to old cantankerous Yoda in the sequel trilogy, and it was pretty damn amazing because it was Yoda. You know, like, I loved Yoda, prequel Yoda. You know, he's great, he's flipping around, he's mobile, but it seemed a little too anti-Yoda. You know, like, I always thought of Yoda as the thinker.
Yeah.
You know, he's the guy that works with his mind, and he does the teaching, and that's his thing. And yet, all of a sudden, he's this super flippy luchador that can go 100 miles an hour, and here he is, you know, as whatever species he is, aged more in, what's the time difference from 3 to 5? I'm never good with the numbers. What would it be like?
22 years.
22. He aged more in 22 years than Ben Skywalker. Than Ben Kenobi did from 3 to 4, who himself aged a ridiculous amount of years in looks and style.
Neither one of them were living in ideal conditions,
but I understand that to a degree. But I mean, Yoda went from being super spry in 30 years to being this ancient old creature, which is counterintuitive to the species, considering we know it has, you know, thousands of years as a lifespan. You know, he aged in 30 years like a human.
Apparently,
I don't know
Yoda...
if the thousands of years is canon anymore.
No, but even 8,000 years, right? Because he's still alive in the in the new book series, right? And that's supposed to be, you know, 1,000 years ago, right? Something like that.
No, it's only 200.
He says
he
says
you his
he's
age.
900 years old in the movie, though.
Thank you.
Yeah,
He tells
he's
you his
supposed
age.
to be
They
hundreds
can't
of
take
years
that
old.
away.
So I mean, he's 900 and what'd you say, 34? He said his age.
I don't know.
He's
What
900 and
they-
something years old, so he was at least 900 or close to 900 in episode 3, and now all of a sudden in episode 5 he's, you know, an old man at the end of his life.
I gotta look
it
at.
Seems counterintuitive to his species.
I disagree with that. I'm going with what Rick McCallum said years ago. Is the only time you ever see Yoda move around fast in the prequel trilogy is when he has to fight. So if there's this badass Jedi Master who's capable of doing almost anything, he's basically also using the Force to help his old crippled body be able to do those things, which is why, like, immediately after the fight in Attack of the Clones, the first thing he does is put his head down, summon his cane with the Force, and he's back to limping. It's not like, oh, someone's coming, I better start act like I'm limping again. It took a lot out of him. Not to mention the last part of that fight, doesn't Yoda... I haven't seen Revenge of the Sith in probably almost a year, but doesn't Yoda like fall 50 feet and smoke his, maybe even more than 50 feet, 100 feet, smoke his back once he, and
That does make a difference.
I think he almost does the same thing as like when Spider-Man loses his powers and like hits that car and just like, oh fuck, my back.
It's just one of those things that because we know so little about that species as in general, we know nothing about them other than they live for 1,000 years or close to it.
I like how Sean said that it's not ideal. Yeah, we just found out that his favorite food is frogs or like, baby.
Right?
Or baby
Turns out it was perfect for Yoda.
Turns out it was like a buffet. Like he was just
he picked Dagobah for a reason, people.
He definitely
I think
that
he's
cave
a
that was
swamp
rich in the Force was just a convenience. It just happened to be on the perfect planet.
He might belong there more than Swamp Thing.
Wait, there's a giant Force cave on this planet?
His name is Grogu.
Sounds like a Johnny, did you give us both yours?
I didn't. I didn't get to my number one.
All
my
right,
number one is the throne room battle.
Ray and
End of
Kylo?
Snoke. Snoke
He's
dead.
talking about Ray and the evil Ray in the Emperor's throne room.
Don't, please.
That's his favorite. Let's go on. Next segment. He loves Ray versus Keira Knightley or whatever. Who was it? So it wasn't even that. Who was it again? Dad's stand-in for Evil Ray.
I don't remember.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Keira Knightley was the stand-in for Padme.
No. They got an actress to play the Evil Ray.
They had a stand-in for her?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Just reflect her?
It's not, but anyways. Go on. He liked Ray versus Evil Ray. Let's get back. Let's get to Death Watch.
I think you skipped an entire segment.
Yeah, he did. The big one, too.
What? Are we going to talk about Darth Maul again?
All right. Okay. Time to move on, I guess.
There
Johnny,
might have been an episode of The Mandalorian we haven't talked about yet.
That's a solid pick. But yes, let's get to the council.
What's this fucker doing?
Alrighty. All I hear is Tommy say, "What's this fucker doing?"
I can't.
He's drumming, Tommy.
Yeah, Kieran's gone off his meds over here, so we're just gonna leave that. But we can't go without making a comment on what Frank said in the chat there, dude.
What did he say in the chat?
Yoda is like Yoda is like my grandfather when a new Playboy came in the mail. He ran quick, even with disabilities.
Oh my God! Yes, that is
Frank Riker with the gold pen.
Shout out to our buddy Frank. Intel Wild in the house, who comes in during a Star Wars show. He must have got hit in the head. Happy to have you.
Go back and watch the opening segment, Intel. I'm sure you'd love it.
Dude, you'd love the beginning of this show. It'd be right down your alley. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk The Mandalorian, Chapter 13, Season 5, Episode 2, The Jedi.
That wasn't episode 2.
Season 2, sorry. I think I said Season 5, Episode 2. It's supposed to be Season 2, Episode 5.
It sucked.
In a nutshell, what happens in this episode is they go to, what was the name of the planet again? Corvus. Okay, so
the city of Caladan on the planet.
I like that it wasn't just a forest. Like, it actually looked a little bit different, which is always nice to see a little bit different looking Star Wars planet instead of just, oh, hey, it's sand. Oh, hey, it's snow. So it's nice to get something a little bit different. By the way, I can't remember the actor's name, Michael something, but
Michael Biehn?
Michael Biehn, a.k.a. Kyle Reese from Terminator 1. I thought he was absolutely fantastic in this episode. I thought he was great. But anyways, Mando runs into Ahsoka. We see Ahsoka right off the bat. She does her shit. And it eventually gets to... we find out Baby Yoda's name is Grogu. Ahsoka doesn't want to train him. There's so many massive references dropped in this episode from you get the Thrawn, and inadvertently through Thrawn you get Ezra, and if you're actually watching in that episode, there's a Lothcat that episode that shows up too. You also get reference the one at the end that maybe enough people aren't paying attention to is oh my God, Tython. Tython is
that was the big one for me.
Yeah, Tython's
I'm excited about that.
Huge reference. So yeah, just so much happened in this episode. Thaden, I feel like you're the most optimistic of all of us in terms of Star Wars fans.
Generally, yeah.
What do you think?
Before I get into it, I also want to mention Mariah was in there, her owl that always follows her around. That was really cool. I was pumped when I saw that, and I was like, she's about to show up, and then she did. I liked the episode quite a bit. It's actually, I feel like it's getting hard to compare the episodes of Mando to each other because they are pretty different than each other. But this was definitely on the high end for me. Ahsoka was quite cool. She looked really good the last time I watched it. The first time I was kind of like, taking a sec to get used to it. And the second time I was more used to it. And then I watched it a third time, and the whole time I was fine with it. Like, she looks good in that. Like, the outfit looks awesome, and the prosthetics look like Ahsoka, which is cool. I do want to mention a weird thing. Ahsoka's fighting looked really weird. Like, because it's not a movie, I think, it looked really sloppy the way she flung around her sabers all the time to me. It looks like she kind of was just, they were kind of just like, all right, swing your saber and we'll just make stuff hit it. And then she did. But other than that, everything she did looked really good. A lot of her fights did still look good. It was just when she was deflecting bullets. The story was super cool. Thrawn, that's awesome. Tython, that's super cool. We actually have seen it in canon recently in the Dr. Aphra comics. It's like all icy in the part that we see, but that could just be the North Pole or something. And yeah, I don't know. This got me excited to see what's coming, and it was still really cool and an awesome, crazy samurai cowboy episode at the same time. I liked it quite a bit. I don't know if I said anything all that meaningful about anything, but I said a lot about a lot. So let's let someone else talk.
We'll definitely dive into a couple of those things in a bit. But Johnny, how about you, man? Episode? I
loved it. There was just so much about it that, the inner fanboy in me loved so much that got me thinking about other things, from Ahsoka showing up and, looking amazing, and just everything about that was amazing. But it's the little nods, it's the little touches, it's the little things that I love so much. And, getting the name for Grogu it was huge for me. Like, finally put a name to it. I'm tired. I've been anti-Baby Yoda as a name forever. I've hated it because it's Yoda is a person's name. That's like calling every baby Jim or baby Fred. It doesn't work because that's an individual's name and not a species name. I hated it from the jump, but now we actually get to put a name to it, and I love it. And the fact that he ties back historically, having been trained in the temple on Coruscant, puts him around some of those other huge characters that now I want to know which masters trained him. That's something I really want to answer. Like, did Yoda train Grogu? Because I think that'd be amazing.
I'm pretty sure Yoda's Grogu's dad.
I would not.
And Yaddle's the mom.
Yeah. I think it's going to be like, Thaden, do you know the history of Ki-Adi-Mundi at all?
I know the thing that you're talking about, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, how the Jedi Order was okay with him just having multiple wives and having children. Yeah, so I mean,
I think that's totally what
it's a safe bet that would apply to Yoda as well, being that species. We've literally only seen 3 examples of that species.
Yeah.
We've seen
one's a male, one's a female, and one's a baby.
Exactly.
So instead of Baby Yoda, it's Yoda's baby.
I would I would also put
Baby
the time
Yaddle.
frame. Now, here's something that we've never put together, but let's put this together in the timeline, okay? Yaddle left the Council just prior to the Clone Wars. What's a more perfect example to leave the Jedi Council than to care for your young child?
Yeah.
I was wondering about that too, but then I don't think the Jedi would have let Yaddle see Grogu all that much.
But the
and
point
same
was
with
she left
Yoda.
the
I think
Council.
that's why we don't know about Grogu.
I think they'd kind of have to because of the species. We don't know what it takes to raise that species, to
I
interact
guess
with
that's
that
true.
species. And obviously,
It could be a necessity to have them in contact with each other.
And obviously, he doesn't speak English as yet. He does not speak Basic.
Yeah.
He speaks exclusively through the Force. So, you'd need creatures and species that understand him specifically, because even Ahsoka doesn't understand him fully, only bits and pieces.
Yeah,
He
she can like kind of
talks,
tell what he's
but it's
thinking
still
about.
only bits and pieces.
It's not something, and he doesn't do it very often.
Yeah, we'll touch on Baby. We'll dive more into the name and the background speculation in a second. But was there anything else about the episode that really
the
hit
idea
home
of
for
going
you?
back to Tython. That for me is a big thing, because I'm a fan of the old canon and Legends and the Old Republic is a game that I still play amazingly, and now I'm functioning in my head like this mountain we're going to this in my head. This is the mountain you go to as a Jedi Knight to assemble your first lightsaber. That's the peak that you go to, because it makes sense historically. The old Jedi Temple. The place of the most power on that planet is where you construct your first lightsaber. Makes perfect sense to go back there. Obviously, it's not going to look the same, because, that'd be pulling something from Legends that would be amazing. And, of course, they're not going to do that.
I disagree. I think they're pulling
It'll be
stuff
something
from
like that,
Legends
but
all
it's
the
not
time
going to be
now.
this. But it's different. They'll change it. They'll take little pieces and little things.
Has been thousands of years.
The only thing that they've ever plucked from Legends and just wholesale brought across is Thrawn, which is another thing that I'm very, very, very excited that they touched on here. There's so many little things that this episode just it whet the appetite.
Kieran?
One thing I wanted to mention, and I want to make sure I get it in before I forget it, because that's what I do. But on the Q&A that we did, I was asked whether I thought that Luke would train, Luke would be more likely to come and train Grogu, or whether it would be Ezra. And I said Luke, but I didn't think it was going to be either one of them, but I thought Luke was more likely. I changed my mind because someone reminded me that you see a Lothcat in this episode. And that
I actually didn't notice the Lothcat.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until someone said it. And then I remembered the scene, but it didn't come in my head.
I've
that it
only
was a
watched the episode
Lothcat,
once, so I obviously didn't notice it when I first saw it. But I will have to go back now and see if I can't spot the Lothcat.
It looks like it's a really quick scene, and then it looks like it just kind of
it's
goes
like
off
put
into an
prominently
alley.
in the screen, but in the dark, so you might not notice that it's a Lothcat.
Yeah, but anyway, so that makes me change my mind. So I thought that was very interesting.
I think it makes a lot more, I'm sure we'll talk about it more and theorize, but I think it makes a lot more sense for Ezra to be the one to train him than Luke, because they kind of set that, Grogu's a little bit on both sides of the fence here. He's attached himself to the Mandalorian, who is sadly kind of on the wrong side of Mandalorian culture, as we've started to put together, and the things he's learned and where he's from and the way he grew up has put him on the wrong side of Mandalorian culture for me as a fan. So he's a little bit, tipsy towards that dark side, and I think that's part of the reason why Ahsoka can't.
I don't know about being towards the dark,
but I'm saying he's on that precipice. He could fall that way.
He's a part of
his
Death Watch, and Death Watch is generally on the dark
Well,
side.
it's because of
that's
his
for
attachment.
sure.
His attachment to a person who lingers to the dark.
Okay.
Because of the way Din was raised and the things he believes, he is sadly on the wrong side. And he's trying to change that by learning things about Mandalorian culture, specifically the helmets and this is the way. And they made a big deal of that in that episode past. Where Bo was kind of like, you poor sad.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah.
You poor person.
She literally calls it a cult.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was definitely like, when when you're talking to somebody you first meet and they're like, "Oh yeah, I love Trump," and you're like,
he's that kid who's been raised by the wrong people, and you can't fault him for that because he didn't get a choice in it. Yeah. But now he's grown up, and you're exposing him to the other side of the coin, and you can see he's starting to appreciate that a bit more, I think.
Yeah.
That he's seeing...
He's more open than he was
when
he first meets Bo-Katan.
Exactly. And I think that's kind of how we're doing it. And who better to train Grogu, who is currently on that precipice, than, the only current Jedi who has straddled both sides in a very effective manner.
Tommy, what do you think of the episode?
Honestly, I've been saying since I first saw it, which was about an hour after it dropped because I couldn't sleep, that it might end up being my favorite episode of The Mandalorian to date. I have yet to rank them, but I'm still on that statement. That episode was extremely powerful. It had plenty of fan service, but it didn't just throw it at you. It all worked. Ahsoka Tano, Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. You know, there are many people who had a lot of reservations and wanted to see Ashley Eckstein brought in, despite her lack of, live action acting experience.
Also, her age?
Well, whatever.
They could make that go away.
So I feel like for the mass majority of folks, I simmered out long before the episode, but I feel like for the mass majority of folks who were still had their reservations, they went away instantly. Those who still have reservations are not going to change their mind.
I think that's a fair way to
There
look
were
at it.
bits and pieces like the prosthetics were too short. I think that's bullshit. Just let it go. It is what it is.
They had them. They have already addressed that. That did come up with a few people. And
I think it's been addressed a few times, and just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah,
let
cares?
it go. Loved it. I absolutely loved it. I think the only caveat I had that I've been pointing out is I wish we got a little more with that ending. With Ahsoka Tano, will choose, so on. So, we could have had a little more emotion or a little bit of something, that sort of thing. But honestly, I stand behind my statement. This might have been my favorite episode of the series to date. I like the name Grogu. I'm probably still going to use Baby Yoda for, talking to the uninitiated, as it is. But I think Grogu is a pretty cool name. I'm fine with it. And can't wait to see what comes next. I don't want to see Luke be showing up, not in this capacity, because I just don't want it. I'd be cool with Ezra. I'd be cool with Cal Kestis. I'd be cool with someone new, as long as they don't make them Jar Jar Binks or something. So, only time will tell.
For me, I just fell in love with this episode. It basically felt like a 40, I forget what the episode length was, 45 minutes, something like that. 45-minute Star Wars movie. I thought it was badass. I didn't have an issue with how Ahsoka swung her lightsabers. I honestly felt like it was really close to how we see some of the prequel characters swing their lightsabers, especially during Attack of the Clones and when they're on Geonosis. And I loved seeing another, a properly trained Jedi who's not just beginning their training and is not some old guy in a bathrobe and is not some Kermit the Frog guy and is not some half robotic burnt leathery bacon guy. This was an actual Jedi who could still do her shit. And the way that opening sequence was filmed, guys, it gave me a bit of a Star Wars chubby, if I do say so myself. It was like, come on, the turning the lightsabers off so you can disappear into the mist and then come back up. And then we even get a POV scene. I think I did say this one thing to Kieran the other day, and I know I've said it to Tommy B, is at times that opening sequence feels like it's something out of a horror movie or how a horror movie would be shot, which felt very different for Star Wars. And I don't think it's been said enough yet, but Dave Filoni's now directed 3 live-action episodes, and I can't believe how much better this episode is than his previous 2. And I really wasn't a fan of episode 5 of season 1. I thought it was kind of choppy. The first episode of Mando I still thought was really good, considering it was his first thing he'd ever directed live-action. But this episode didn't scream of someone who is new to directing, which I think is very, very good. Just absolutely, totally in love with this episode. And like the legend stuff and the lore, like there's never been an episode of TV, any Star Wars TV, that has like teased so much lore, and it's just like, yeah, you gotta wait though. It was awesome. I dug it. Intel Wild in with a very generous super chat, even though I do not get geeked up for Star Wars stuff like you guys. Great work and excellent content. Thanks, Intel. That's
tip of the cap to you, sir.
Yes, a tip of my toque to you, good sir.
Love our fans. Like we got some really great fans.
Sean, I should point out you've chased Frank Riker.
Okay, now
He's leaving. Seth Rogen is doable, and now we have a chubby.
a Star Wars chubby.
It's like
Solo,
a regular
Star
chubby,
Wars
except it
chub.
glows in the dark.
Oh my god! All right, so I have a couple.
I did have 2 problems with this, though.
Okay.
So we mentioned the opening, and I didn't have a really big problem with this, but because Ahsoka doesn't really identify as a Jedi anymore, but she did look like she was like just assassinating these people, which I felt like I'm always very keen on the Jedi being Jedi, and I don't know she doesn't, but I feel like she left the Jedi Order because she wanted to be a better Jedi, not because she wanted to run around killing people.
She does still kill clones in Clone Wars when they shoot at her. So
Yeah.
I think she's willing to kill. She just prefers not to.
Yeah.
You shoot first, I'll kill you.
However, this leads me to the bigger problem that I had was when Mando showed up and she was just like, "Fuck you," and just started swinging, just trying to beat the shit out of him. Like it wasn't like she gave him a couple warnings and then like gave him a chance or something. Like she started swinging at him like angry, and it was like, what the fuck? Like you don't even know what he wants.
You do have a bit of a valid point on that.
That
one.
is that is fair. But it had to establish that Beskar can block lightsabers.
Oh, we already knew that. I mean, I already knew that anyway.
I mean,
It wasn't
even
in canon
if you
yet, though.
didn't know that, like they proved that pretty well when Ahsoka goes toe to toe with I can't remember, Morgana blah 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 blue. I don't remember.
But that
her
was
name.
after the fact.
It was after
Is that
the fact.
Jabba the Hutt's brother or something? What?
They had to establish it.
More
and then show it
Gaga
later.
Boo Boo, the Manistrate.
Exactly. I
So I
can't
wouldn't
remember
care
her
if they
name. In my mind, I just kept calling her Morgana Le Fay, and I know that's not even close to what her name is. But when they go
It's
toe
just
to toe,
Morgan
and
something.
it's Morgan something or other, whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But when they go toe to toe, when she keeps hitting that Beskar spear, it clearly is deflecting these shots. You prove that right there.
They could have established it then, but I think
Exactly.
they wanted to set it up so you'd know, and then
I mean,
Yeah.
in Ahsoka's defense, there are only a handful of Mandalorians she's encountered that aren't out to kill Jedi.
I think that's the other thing is she probably knows it's Beskar.
well, that's true.
Yeah,
too.
so I would have been okay with him appearing and then her giving a couple shots that she obviously put to like the shoulder and the thing, but she was like swinging angrily at him, like it didn't seem that way. So and it could have been explained away by like quickly being like boom boom and then being like, so that is Beskar, or she could have said any sort of line like that. But
I think at that point she didn't know his intentions.
Yeah.
She was not going to take any chances until I hearken it back to Batman v Superman. It's that point where, why did you say that name? That's that whole point. Until he says Bo-Katan sent me, she's ready to kill, no question.
yeah.
But as soon as he says that name, then it's like, oh, hold on a minute, you might actually be a good guy.
I don't know. I just like I always want to see Ahsoka the way other people do because I'm not a really big Ahsoka fan. I don't have anything at all against her. Like I don't hate her in any way, but I don't see why fans love her so much. And then like when I try to see her the way other people do, which is like almost like some people see her as like this perfect Jedi, and but then doing like that sort of thing is not the Jedi way to me. So I don't know. And like I said, when people say, well, she's not a Jedi anymore, I always refer to it as like she's a perfect person to go start her own new Jedi and be like, hey, like the Jedi fucked up in this way, and this is the way you should actually be.
Yeah, I think she's kind of re-embraced the Jedi to like the Jedi code.
Yeah,
like at its core, not what it was turned into in the Clone Wars era.
think-
yeah.
She's more
I think with her
attuned to what a
leaving the Jedi,
was.
she left the Jedi Order because the Order was corrupt, but she still
left
believed the Jedi
exactly.
code.
I do really love the fight with the what's the other characters?
Morgan, Alfred.
Yeah, I wanted to hear Johnny say it again.
Morgana Le Fay.
I know. I'm just thinking. It's
Don't
funny
think so.
when he said that. I was thinking about the.
I'm still thinking Supernatural. It's on my brain, and that's Supernatural.
I was thinking about the Cinderella fairy just being like bippity boppity boo. But anyways, so I really liked that fight, and
Morgan Elsbeth. Sorry.
I saw some criticism on the fight because it wasn't a bunch of flippy dippy shit.
She couldn't just kill her.
Well, but here's the thing: like, it was perfect for the episode because the episode is definitely a samurai vibe, and when you see movies. It does have
both.
some Western.
Westerns are samurai movies.
It has Western. It has Western with the Michael Bain parts.
Oh God, yeah.
But,
yeah, it was both, which is what Star Wars is.
There's totally a Tombstone vibe you get when he's, like, your side might win, my side might win. It's like that whole conversation.
When he puts down the weapon only to pull the ass blaster.
Anyways, to address the criticism of the fight and how it is kind of slowed down. When you watch a samurai movie, if you've watched any like classic samurai movies,
real samurai movie, not samurai movies with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, they like to show you what the moves are and how the counters are. They like to show you it as if it's a boxing match, and you see the person, throwing out the jab, and then the other person be like, yeah, I can get away from that jab.
Testing their defenses.
Yeah, and then the next person is like, okay, well, what's your defense to if I do this? And then the killing blow is always the person being like, I'll do that same thing I just did, except because you drop your leg in that way, boom, it's gone. Or, they're very methodical in the way that they fight. And that's how this fight was. It was a 1-2, I see what you're doing. Well, what if I do 1-2 up? And then they're like, nah, that didn't work. And it's also great in the same way that Maul's death was when Obi-Wan fought him. And it was a sequence of moves that Obi-Wan figured out.
It also, it picks up the pace as it goes on. Like, at the end, it's way faster than it is at the beginning, which is to go with what you're saying. Like, they're learning each other's patterns and going faster. It's cool.
I loved it. I had seen that criticism online, so
I was expecting the finishing blow to be once, they knocked that second lightsaber into the water. I was expecting that finishing blow to be them getting, up close and in combat, and then her kind of reaching out and pulling that second lightsaber and being like, you can't do anything about this.
That was my thought, too.
I expected like a hand chop or something where she takes the hands and then the spear drops, and it's like, now we're done, tell me what I want to know.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way.
Thaden, I'd like to know from you before I ask these two questions on this episode. I mean, as cool as it is to look at it like that from the samurai perspective, for me, I sort of looked at it like, okay, well, if Ahsoka wanted to, she absolutely could have wasted her really way quicker than that, but chose not to because she needed the information.
I could see that. I felt like it was an even fight, but I think it's possible that Ahsoka, if she wanted to kill her, could have tried harder and then beaten her fairly easily. I think she had to restrain herself, or I think it's possible she had to restrain herself, and so it became an even match because Ahsoka wasn't fighting to kill, but Morgan was fighting to kill.
Yep.
Awesome. All right.
That's my guess.
All right, boys, I got two questions for you guys here.
Rankings?
No. So actually, I guess rankings would make it 3.
That's a completely different part. These are questions.
Let's start off with, we got to touch on this. Which Jedi is going to show up on Tython? And maybe no Jedi shows up on Tython, but which Jedi is going to hear the call from Tython? What are our predictions here? Tommy, I'm going to go to you first. If you had to bet money, my friend, who do you think receives the call?
I think we are more likely at this point to see Ezra Bridger. And if not Ezra Bridger, we're likely to see Luke Skywalker, despite the fact that I really don't want to.
Kieran, your guess, man. What's your best guess?
Is Tara Sinube still alive, Thaden?
I'm glad you asked. No, I have no idea. He probably died of old age by now.
I think it's going to be Ezra now. I actually really... that whole Lothcat thing that was explained to me by, I wish I could credit the person, but
whomever it was.
They're not watching, probably don't think anyways, because I didn't get them from this channel. I got them from like StarWarsFans.com or something. I don't know.
Didn't know that was a site.
You know what? It's not. It's a Facebook group. I don't know. They report lots of "we got this covered." Great. So
you're saying it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy?
pretty much. Yeah, I think it's more than likely going to be Ezra, and I'm actually kind of disappointed. I would like to see live action Ezra, but I don't want to see it here. I would much rather get a brand new character, or somehow someone we didn't. You know what I thought? You know what I thought of the other day was how could we get Mace Windu to be this person now? Like, that would be really crazy.
A lot of people are talking.
Can we
about
not?
that
I've seen
here
enough
and there.
Mace Windu
I want
clone
him to be
rumors
dead.
Well,
in the last
yeah,
day that
we've
just makes me
gotten
want to
so many.
smack somebody for creating that theory.
I do think there was
Can it-
official concept art for like what
Yeah.
if Mace Windu came back in Rebels.
Except
maybe it wasn't.
this
official,
time he's
but
a
I-
clone.
Said clone
He's a
one
clone
more time.
and he's Snoke, just like that old rumor.
Oh God.
Yeah, he's just a black Snoke.
Thaden, who's showing up, my man?
Okay, so I think it's likely that it might not be the person I'm going to say, but this is what I thought of the first time I saw the episode while I was watching it, and it was like, I really hope this is it because it would be awesome. I noticed Ahsoka didn't know Yaddle, so Yaddle wasn't part of the Jedi Order, so she might not have been at the temple, which means Yaddle could have survived, which means it could be Yaddle. I think it's possible, however unlikely, that we might see Yaddle. I really want that to be what it is. But if it's not Yaddle, because that's really unlikely, then I think it's more likely Ezra.
Johnny, who you putting the money on?
None of the above.
Just someone new.
I think it's going to be a Force Ghost.
I've heard that possibility.
Yeah, that's also. a thing
I
was
heard Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. And I also heard Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. I heard both of those.
I think
thinking. Yoda and Yaddle.
I don't think you're getting Yoda show
Ghost
up
Bait.
again.
Oh, could
Yeah,
we get Qui-Gon back?
I don't think.
Oh, that'd be badass. But
That
I
would
think
be really
I think
cool,
that's for Obi-Wan.
I would 100%
I think.
get a Force Chubby.
I think.
Oh my
Rock
God.
somewhere.
I mean, Obi-Wan kind of makes sense, and I thought about that, in sort of a tie it into the series kind of way, because we don't know who hid Grogu. So perhaps we could tie in the Obi-Wan series into that as sort of a, those two have history. But I don't think they're going to go down that road. So I think it's a left field option. I think it's going to be Kanan Jarrus.
Who would also be a Force Ghost.
Yes, it's Force Ghost Kanan, which I think is going to pave us towards further down.
Actually
the Ezra
played
path.
by Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's going to
No.
further. I think it's going to
What
further
about
pave us
Yaddle?
down the Ezra
Yeah,
road.
old Freddie Prinze could play him. He doesn't look the same
Absolutely.
anymore. He
I
can grow a
don't-
good beard.
No.
I'd also like to point out that half of his face is covered.
Well, no, it wouldn't be. He's a
If he's
Force
a good
Ghost. Oh, I'm sorry. Vader can have his whole body back, but
He just really digs the glasses.
you don't get your eyes. I'm sorry. We
just
ran
has
out of.
Hey,
seat he's
Anakin
talking
was
to.
far more stronger
really
in the Force, so he
antisocial.
could heal himself too.
Uh,
But no, I mean, I'm yanking
hang on.
Shane. It would be Freddy as Freddy.
shout out to John in the chat who's like, Kieran, put the damn food down. I was actually going to mention every
You
time
know what? That's good, because I was going to reply back to him, but I can reply back in video.
Oh.
Fuck you, Chan. No, I actually love you, Chan. I love Chan. He's
I'm like,
awesome.
because I can barely see Kieran over the screen. I'm like basically looking at his eyes. Which is
Oh, you
want
want to see me? Okay. Fuck you, Chan. There you go.
I would, in answer to your question, Chansky, I would drop Anakin before he's the other because he's a little bitch.
Fuck you.
Any
Asshole.
character who utters the phrase "I don't like sand," like that whole speech. If I heard that speech, I'd kill him right there.
I'll take I
are
don't
a
like
little
sand
bitch.
over I am the Jedi.
No,
That's
Get out.
Come on.
You had
No, that's just
Yeah.
sequel hate.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
coarse
should
and it
move
gets
on from
everywhere. It gets in your bikini
but
area.
neither one
It's fucking
neither one of them
bothersome.
are as bad as I Rebel. Oh,
True,
that
but,
one.
I mean,
Ugh.
seriously, that whole sand speech
No,
is something.
no, yeah. No,
It's something
Anakin
unexpected
lines
written by
are-
a child. Like an actual
Anakin
child.
lines are on their own level in anywhere in Star Wars. Like there's like 5 Anakin sayings that are on their own level. You can't like.
Anyways.
There's nothing worse.
The Jedi are evil.
I was
Anyways,
I was watching Kieran eat, right? Like, because I couldn't, because he'd take a bite of something, he'd just be like, and then he'd take another bite and he'd be like, and then he'd go behind the microphone and be like, he's doing all different things to keep covering his mouth.
I'm hungry.
I felt like I was watching Wilson from Home Improvement. So
I'm way wiser than that fool.
so I was on board with it being Ezra too. Hang on, Tommy, did you give your pick? Yeah, you did.
Did he?
You did. Yes, you did.
He said Yaddle.
Yeah. No, Tommy did not say yeah.
Yaddle. I said Ezra. If
Yeah.
not Ezra, probably going to be Luke, but I don't really want Luke. So yeah.
I thought it was going to be Ezra 2 up until Dave Filoni yesterday threw out there that this episode, in fact, might take place before
I'm happy you brought
Ahsoka.
that
That
up.
could still happen though.
Ahsoka and Sabine went looking for
Well, it would make
Ezra.
sense because
Now, he
she's
didn't
now getting
confirm.
information
He's
from
like,
Thrawn.
it's almost like they haven't decided yet what way they're taking with that, or he's
Yeah.
playing coy with it. But if it is true that takes place before them going off, I don't think it's Ezra, even with the Loth Cat. I think that might be just a misdirect.
Lothcat
I-
misdirect could still point to Kanan.
We came on this show before that episode ever aired and said, get ready. This next episode basically launches their little Filoniverse thing where you're going to see multiple characters build into a different show and Baby Yoda background. And I can tell you from the same people are saying the next 3 episodes combined, there's a couple of massive jaw-dropping, oh my, fuck moments. And I can't help but wonder if they are going to drop a new Luke Skywalker on us.
It seems
I
like
feel
the
like they won't
Sebastian
do that
Stan
after
rumors
Solo.
are coming back up
They are.
a lot in the last few days.
And the funny thing is, it was reported a while ago they seen him on set. This is going months back, like pre-COVID. So immediately that's where not speculation started, because it started long ago, but it flared back up. We also found out that George Lucas was on set for the Rosario Dawson episode as Ahsoka Tano. I have a feeling, it doesn't mean that's going to end with Luke training him, but I have a feeling they're going to carve Luke Skywalker into this story too, even though Tommy doesn't want it.
No, wait. I've always been cool with a new Luke Skywalker being casted. I'm not cool with Grogu ending up at the academy that ends up getting destroyed.
Just because Luke hears the call doesn't mean he answers the call.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm totally cool with Luke Skywalker coming in to this live action universe.
There's also
somehow in some role, but hopefully not front and center.
There's also still like 15 years or something between this and the temple stuff, or there could be. I mean, I don't know if it's confirmed.
Yeah, there are supposed to be a good number of years and still to go. I mean,
Hey, they could open what's the secret room called from Rebels again? The World Between Worlds.
Yeah,
they could go in that room and open up an entire new timeline.
Please don't time travel. Star Wars, please never time travel again.
The one time they did it, we don't need it to be doing it.
I'm just
again.
saying, it's there. It's there. Quickly, guys, we got to be quick with this one.
Yes.
Do we get any of Thrawn this season? I personally believe they're introducing Thrawn to be their Thanos, their big guy who's going to come in and be the main villain across 2, 3, 4 shows. But do we see any hint of him or visual appearance of him this season? Yay or nay, and maybe briefly why? Kieran, you're up first.
I hope not. I don't like them to oversaturate any character, especially a character I like as much as him. So I don't know. He's definitely not a Thanos. I mean, as powerful as he is, like Thanos is like the could beat you in a second guy.
Thrawn's the
all
tactically
can't beat him guy though.
Yeah, they're different. They're different. Like Thrawn's more like Batman, really. I mean, Thrawn's really super tactically smart, and you'll never outsmart him. And I mean, I guess Batman's not. He does get outsmarted on occasion, but he's usually the guy who says like, "Oh no, I knew this all along," and then fuck you. But don't give me that look. Do you read Batman? Do you read Batman comics, Johnny?
Yes.
How many Batman comics do you have?
I think physically though, like, or not physically, but like just from how Thanos was the villain they kept building up to, like how he was that placeholder, not in terms of raw power. I think that's what Thrawn is.
I don't like that comparison, especially because I see the Emperor as being way more powerful than Thrawn as well.
I think you're looking too hard on you have to beat a certain power threshold to fill that type of overarching villain role, which you really don't. It's just about your impact on the universe, and Thrawn could have a huge impact because of his tactical mind.
Yeah.
He can pull the strings for an entire galactic battle.
Point taken.
He's
that's
smart.
Pretty good. But I don't want to see him oversaturated. I don't want to see him in every show, and I sure as hell don't want to see him.
So you say we
go the mall road where they just bring him back in.
I think the thing though is they kind of have to if the series are going to happen concurrently.
Yeah, and that seems to be the indicator. I mean, it's so far to the point that it sounds like the Obi-Wan series is going to have tie-ins to this, even though it happens way before. So this is them building their universe, and this has been reported for a while.
Fuck, I'm just gonna eat this whole bag of chips, guys. You guys finish the episode.
Thaden, do you think we see Mr. Thrawn this season? I mean, clearly he's coming. You do not name drop him. Specifically, Dave Filoni would never do that just to piss off fans.
Yeah. I think we may see Thrawn, or I'd really like it to see like the Chimera, his ship, or that pattern on the bottom of his ship.
You'll notice they avoided having
next season.
Gideon didn't have a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same ship, probably. But
no, but I'm saying like you avoided showing the Star Destroyer by having Gideon not have one. So the end of the season, you could
that's true.
See the Chimera and be like, oh.
Yeah. But I think, regardless, I think that'll be the end of next season. Because I was thinking about this, I think Thrawn is only going to actually come into play, like, physically in the shows after they're done the prequel books, which is next year. Or I guess the last one might come out.
Could drive
later.
people to go buy more prequel books, though.
Yeah, they could do, like, a collection or something, though. Or if this finishes just before the third book, it'll get people excited for the last one, and then they'll go read all of it. I don't know. That's how I'm thinking of it, because I think it'll be weird if we see him this season and then we have two big Thrawn stories going on at the same time, which sort of already happened with the Thrawn books and Rebels, but those were concurrent to Rebels generally. Two of the three were. And like, yeah. I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Johnny?
I think they're saving him.
I don't think we're going to necessarily see Thrawn this year. I think you kind of hit it with the Chimera reveal at the end of this season. Seeing Gideon taking his ship into the Star Destroyer that you pan out on, and then you see that Chimera design on the ship, and it's like, oh, shit. And then you build it forward into the next season where you actually see Thrawn at the end of that. I think you hit it with the Thanos thing, where this is the... In the overarching universe, this is the who was it? It wasn't Loki. It was the blue guy in Guardians of the Galaxy. Ronan in that room, and you only saw the back of Thanos. You didn't actually see him. He was kind of talking to the throne.
He turns around eventually. He looks funny.
Yeah, but I mean, it's that sort of moment where you don't actually get the big reveal fully. Then it was probably Loki, I guess, who was doing. It was Loki on one knee, right? At the end of Avengers, I think. And he was talking to Thanos.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. So I think that's the one I'm thinking of, where he's on one knee.
It's like one of those weird Chitauri guys talks to him, because Loki's still on Earth.
Either way, it's somebody talking to Thanos, but you don't actually see Thanos. But you know that's who they're talking to.
He turns his cheek, and he's like,
you see the blue cheek, and that's
that prune juice guy?
Exactly. So I think we're going to get that without getting the full reveal, saving that for later.
Alrighty, Tommy, do you think we see Thrawn this season?
So I'll admit, I hadn't given much thought to the Chimera's role in this, partially because the Purrgil really jacked it up, that last scene in Rebels. I guess it might not have been a total loss, but it definitely needed work after that happened, whatever survived going into hyperspace like that. Yeah, you and I had this discussion, and it's kind of been alluded here. The same way that Gideon is sort of phased out with Darksaber at the end of season 1, I think we could see something to do with Thrawn or the Chimera at the end of season 2, given the specific name drop. I don't foresee Thrawn appearing next episode taking a prominent front center role. Maybe Gideon, maybe. It's a wait and see sort of thing, and I'm very excited to see what role Thrawn will have in this big Filoni universe, as it's being called.
I mean, I'm not predicting this is going to happen. I'm just saying it'd be amazing. We get to the end of the season, maybe Gideon fails at his task, and who do we see him reporting back to? Is you get the shot of the Chimera and shot of the Star Destroyer bridge, and then just to even see Thrawn from behind in the white suit, and then sort of have him turn towards the camera and walk towards it, and we black out, and boom, no more Mandalorian forever. You got your look at Thrawn. It's like your Black Saber moment at the end of the first season. I'd be so game for that. But
I want to mention one quick thing. I was just thinking the way you mentioned the Darksaber, that was a cool thing that was nobody who doesn't know about that already, who doesn't know Clone Wars and stuff already knew what that was. They were just well, that's cool. And the same thing could totally happen by showing the Chimera design on the Chimera. It would be keeping with season 1 if they did that. But anyways, that's all.
It'd be something else. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen,
before we move on from this, I just want to take a minute. I want to soapbox for a minute. I want to soapbox about the fan base. Okay? Because,
which fan base?
The Star Wars fan
okay.
base.
I didn't know if you've seen something in the chat or something.
No.
Brief,
the chat, the YouTube chat is fantastic.
Right.
I love you guys. Frank, you're awesome. It is the Star Wars fan base. It just briefly. How many of you saw a post complaining about Ahsoka's Leku?
Yeah,
anybody
that's
else
what
see
I
any of
referred
that?
to earlier.
Yeah?
They're called
Yeah?
Montrals. Thank you very much.
Thank you for stealing my thunder, Thaden.
Oh, is that going to be your whole thing?
My soapbox is you self-profess yourself to be these Star Wars authorities on the history of the canon and the knowledge of the canon, and you're calling it a Leku when she is a Togruta. Togrutas don't have Lekus. Those are Twi'leks.
Yeah.
That is an entirely different
more relevant.
species.
I am definitely the least knowledgeable.
But my
on
point is,
that, and I knew that.
don't self-profess yourself and stand on your soapbox and say, this is crap because her Leku looks like something that a fan... I've seen better cosplays at Comic-Con. Good for you. They're Twi'leks, not Togrutas.
Well, being oh, I'm a great Star Wars fan, but her hair looks all weird. And it's wait,
it irritates the crap out of me when these are the people that soapbox and complain about fans disliking other things when you're getting something fundamentally wrong about the species of a character you claim to love so much that you don't even know her species of origin.
Yeah, no, I get it. I thought most of the fan base took this episode really positive. This was I do think this episode... I think this episode really did honestly change Star Wars going forward and what we're going to see. It was the opening. I know we joked around about it. They're hey, you notice how every TV promo and trailer we seen for this season had nothing past episode 4? Well, I think episode 5 is just the tip of the iceberg of that, and it really did change things going forward. To Johnny's point, I totally agree with you, and thank God because Thaden... stole your thunder. We didn't have to hear 10 minutes on that.
That wasn't going to be 10 minutes. It was only going to be about as long as I actually went. But he just ripped the heart out of it right 3 seconds in.
To steal thunder.
He does.
Don't steal my thunder. I'll smack you around.
Well,
your thunder is my favorite.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Death Watch, where yours truly will defend the championship for the first time.
He's so proud, guys.
I
He's
am.
So proud.
I am.
Look at him. He did it.
Look at him go.
Loves it.
He wins once. He's like Buster Douglas.
Wait, look at him go, Morty.
Cuts us out with the fucking...
I'm glad I got a
I claim this sword and my rightful place as leader of Death Watch.
Alrighty. One of you guys have your phone handy to be able to keep track of time?
They kind of both have to, since they're both asking
Yeah,
questions.
I can put a timer on mine.
Alrighty. Well, the way this works is it's time for the Death Watch, our Star Wars trivia game about Star Wars deaths. You know, it can be legends, it can be canon, you name it, we got it. It's a little bit of everything. It may even be close to the cock. You just don't know.
I hope they keep their questions close to the cock.
I hope not. Kieran was on an impressive streak. What was it? 3 wins in a row? 4 wins in a row?
It was 3 wins in a row.
3 wins in a row. That finally came to an end last week. And so him and Tommy are the question makers. Kieran, take it away, basically, man.
All right. So the way this goes, I guess, who gets to pick the first number? You do, because you're the champ. All right.
Sorry, I'm the what?
At the end of this, it's former champ.
Winner of the last thing.
Kieran, I send you the numbers.
Saw
Use
that.
different ones if you
Yeah,
want. But I didn't know if
I
you had
remember
them or
this
not.
happened once, and me and Tommy were the guys, and we're both shit the bed on this.
It should have been like Golf's green
Yeah.
jacket. Kieran could have been putting the jacket on me.
Oh my god! You know what? That opening, they actually changed that. That's actually Sean saying, "I take this sword in my right hand." Like that was he said that right
He
after we went
recorded
off
it for
air.
himself.
Yeah, right. We went off air last week, and he just fucking started spitting everywhere. Just fucking really happy to be champion. Pick a number between 1 and 3.
What? No. He has to pick his
Oh,
number
yeah.
between 1 and 10
Pick a
first.
number between 1 and 10, and don't pick 7 because it's a shitty number.
4.
Nope.
You have to pick the next person.
Thaden, why don't you go next?
6.
Nope.
7, because it's a shitty number.
Nope.
9.
Yes.
Alrighty.
So I guess you get to pick first what you would like.
Yeah, I'm going to go with number 1.
All right. And then who gets to pick for the second?
Whoever you choose.
Yeah.
I'll pick Johnny this time, I guess.
I will pick number 3.
Okay. And that gives
What
Thaden
number
number
do I get?
2. Which means... actually, let's get the order first, too. Sean, do you want to go
I'll go
first,
last.
third? You want to go third? Okay. And Thaden, you want to go
2nd.
second?
Well, I guess I want to go first.
Okay. Johnny, you'll go
Look
first.
at you go.
Sean, your category is movies. Who went second?
Me.
I was doing so well. Thaden, you got games?
You say that with such
Yeah,
such confidence.
Thaden, you got games,
Video
and
games?
Johnny, you got literature.
Are you sure
as
about that?
would
Can you
say.
consult those notes and make sure
I
you
don't-
didn't get that wrong?
You know
Here
what?
comes
You
3
know what?
scholastic questions.
Yeah.
Who made that category?
No.
Especially because
no
we already know
scholastic
Tommy
question.
did make literature.
Wait, hold on.
There are
Tommy
no
made
scholastic-
literature?
Yes,
Oh,
he did.
boy.
Fuck you,
There are
Johnny.
no
Dum
questions.
dum
Great.
dum 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 dum.
Alright.
Let's see the questions, they're great.
And it's Johnny's question first.
Oh my god.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Johnny's question
I can
first.
hear the excitement in your voice.
In the category of literate. Can you do it? Say literature.
Literature.
No, you can't. No.
Literature?
You
Literature.
guys prefer the way I say literature?
Yes, it's awesome.
Yeah, he does
Okay.
it really well.
So, take it away, Tommy. You give him the.
Be kind, because I say
Literature question.
literature so
Remember the timer
succinctly.
also.
Literature.
All right.
That's not
Kieran,
a
you're
thing.
doing the timer.
Yep, I got the timer. and,
You're not a thing.
I will tell you when it's 10, 5, and 0.
Fantastic.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, Johnny V. Here we go. What?
It's
In the
preemptive.
Scholastic Hitch, Young Jedi Nice.
It's preemptive.
in the Star Wars ABC books for toddlers.
I'm looking at my questions, not the big and large
What is
versions. I don't know what's
J4?
going on.
Jedi. We actually just bought Jensen that book.
Can I get started? There are no fucking scholastic questions.
Poor
Go ahead.
Tommy.
Let's get this show on the road.
We're waiting.
Oh my god, I fucking hate you all.
Oh my
Can we do the
god.
Jeopardy song?
We're waiting on you,
No.
Tommy.
You have the question, bro.
What?
Oh my
Oh my
god.
God. Can I just read it?
It's literature. Johnny, it was literature. You started
Can I
reading.
go yet or what?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Go ahead.
I assumed my name after discarding my old one. I served the Empire as an efficiency expert. I was killed in an explosion set by my enemy. Who am I?
I think Thaden knows this one.
John is like, can I call a friend?
10, 5.
Repeat the question.
I assumed my name after discarding my old one. I served the Empire as an efficiency expert. I was killed in an explosion set by my enemy. Who am I?
Multiple choice.
Oh, okay. Multiple choice. A. Demetrius Vidian. B. Skelly. C. Hetto. Or D. Okadiah Garson.
B.
B. Skelly?
Yeah.
And I
That is incorrect. You were looking for Demetrius Vidian, who is
Yeah,
the
come on.
main antagonist.
Guess the guy who's
of-
got 2 names.
Yes. Main
And-
antagonist of A New Dawn. And I think he's also in some of the Canon comics, but I haven't read them.
I agree with
in the short
Frank.
story.
Harry Potter.
And I did him as a question like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. See? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I
Which is fine. We're allowed to do that.
Yeah, no,
Did
that's
him.
fine. It worked. I don't think people got it either time.
It didn't
Okay.
work. Because last time was Tommy.
So let's move on to Thaden, who got games.
Closer to your mic, Kieran.
He got games. All right, let me just make sure I'm on the games questions here. No. Okay. Question. I accused my killer of being too weak, and he scarred me forever. Years later, we fought, and I knew he was too strong for me this time. After being mortally wounded, I contemplated what would happen if our fates were switched.
All right, video games. Fuck. That doesn't help.
Yeah, you're fucked. Sean's gonna win.
Is that allowed? Can Quizmaster say that?
It feels unethical.
The
Protest!
Important question was Tommy keeping time?
Repeat the question anyways.
All right.
But
Yeah, Tom, you.
Oh, was I supposed to?
Oh my god!
Oh, shit!
We hope you enjoyed the show today, folks.
Only
okay.
10 seconds here. 10
am I
seconds.
I accused
10 seconds, Tommy.
my killer of being too weak, and he scarred me forever. Years later, we fought, and I knew he was too strong for me this time. After being mortally wounded, I contemplated what would happen if our fates were switched.
I don't want to use a multiple choice, so I'm going to guess Malik.
Start at?
It is Malik. Malik
Okay.
is correct.
He's mortally wounded. I figured he probably said that Revan was weak.
Yeah,
That sounds
he
right.
has a big speech after he's wounded about, like, well, what if I switched back to the Jedi instead of you? Or
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, correct. 2 points.
Cool.
How many seconds did we start at? Was it 20?
You start with 20 and then it's 10 on the repeat.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
Okay.
yeah, 5
And
seconds
then
on
like
multiple
5
choice.
for the
Yep.
multiple choice.
Yep.
Tom, if you want, I got your questions. You can just go to sleep.
But that would require him running the clock the rest of the night. Do we trust him with that?
No, okay. Let's go on to
Jonathan.
Sean's questions.
Don't.
All right. Hit a chord. Maybe I was overconfident after my first encounter with a Force user. I had killed a Jedi just before my death. I wasn't able to escape this time because of an equipment failure.
Jango Fett.
The answer is Jango Fett.
Why do I get the only category where I don't know the answers without multiple choice?
Kieran, you suck.
Few people ever know the answers to literature without multiple choice.
This is just not cool, guys.
What was the pterodactyl head guy's name again? Wasn't it like Trayman Coleman or something like that?
Yeah, something.
Trevor Coleman, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
It was Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman.
Gary.
Pterodactyl man. Okay. Back to Tommy giving a question to Johnny.
Fantastic.
It's your second one that you're going to give him, Tommy.
He might get this one.
No, I doubt it.
All right, let's go.
I was a love interest of Darth Bane. I served in the Brotherhood of Darkness. I was killed by the thought bomb. Who am I?
Oh, what the fuck was her name? God damn it. I'm trying not to drop F-bombs because I'm feeling like that right now. But
Peg Bundy. No, I'm sorry, Johnny. It's not Peg Bundy.
10.
Repeat the question.
I was a love interest of Darth Bane. I served in the Brotherhood of Darkness, and I was killed by the thought bomb. Who am I? You have one multiple choice remaining.
Thanks, Tips.
5, 2, 1.
I don't know. Are you the slave dancer?
Yeah, he's...
No,
He's done.
the correct answer was Giffany.
That's a stupid name.
Giffany.
Wait, did you say Giffany or Tiffany?
Giffany!
Yeah, okay, that's a stupid name.
It's better than Tiffany. That would be weird. Just have a random...
Yeah, but
Tiffany
like,
in there.
it's so lazy to make that way to make up a Star Wars name.
Whatever. They normally just take a
I
vowel
give
out of a
you
regular name.
Giffany and her sister Biffany.
Yeah.
I don't
Frank's
know.
right. It was Darth Hannah
So,
Montana.
real quick,
All right.
Johnny, tell me if you would have gotten this. A. Honda, B. Keel Charney, C. Giffany, or D. Darrowbit.
Oh, I think the answer
Giffany
is
would have been the
Giffany.
last one I would have
Yeah.
said.
Yeah,
Really?
I probably would have picked that last one. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah.
That's right.
Honda for one of them?
I would not
Like
have
the
picked
car?
the car.
Johnny speaks Grogu tonight. All right, let's move on.
On to me.
To Thaden's questions.
It's more.
And...
Oh, God.
yeah. Okay. I left the Empire to become a smuggler. I fight a character that recently had been seen alive after being believed dead. I only die if you complete the game on easy difficulty.
This is going to be another guess because I don't want to use a thing.
You don't.
Dash Rendar?
The answer is Dash Rendar.
Awesome. Smuggler.
I was gonna try and trick you.
I hate you
into
all so
thinking
much.
It was Han Solo, but I knew.
To be fair,
you don't know.
I've
You don't know
never
that part.
played those games.
You don't know the easy. You only beat it on easy. He dies, right?
I hate you all so much.
Yeah. So Johnny's eliminated. He can...
All of you can kiss my ass.
Don't worry. You don't have to. You don't have to try and answer one of those hard questions.
I was gonna say save
Johnny.
his extra question for overtime.
Kiss my ass. How about it?
How about it?
Oh my God.
That's a Pete Rose quote, ladies
All right.
and gentlemen.
So we'll just we'll just skip Johnny now. Or do you want to still want a question? Or are you having you want a question, Johnny?
It's my go.
I'm gonna go with kiss my ass for 1,000.
All right. Let's go on. So, second question here for Sean. My family served the Republic for 5 generations. I turned on the Republic and helped a prisoner escape their custody. I thought I would be rewarded, but instead I was stabbed through the chest.
Ten. 5, 4, 3,
Repeat.
2.
My family served the Republic for 5 generations. I turned on the Republic and helped a prisoner escape their custody. I thought I would be rewarded, but instead I was stabbed through the chest. I'll just count the 5, 4, 3.
10.
No, you only get 10.
Well, the multiple choice. Yeah, I was gonna say, where's my countdown?
Okay. Pharaoh Argus, Rush Clovis, Galen Urso, or
Rush
Hulk
Clovis.
Hogan. No, the answer is Pharaoh
it's Argus.
Yeah, I
You
never
say
would have gotten
Hulk
him.
Hogan?
What's that from?
It's
Wars,
from Clone Wars.
one of the
He
Senate
wears one of
guard-looking
those.
dudes.
Yeah, he wears those cool blue Roman armor, and he had really
God.
weird hair.
Yeah, he had big, poofy, or fancy-looking yellow hair.
He looked like a '70s pro wrestler. Like he had this like.
Never
super-
would have gotten that.
And
Is he that
He reminds me
douchebag
of
with
Johnny
Saj
Bravo.
Ventress kills?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I hate that guy. He sucks.
Yeah, he's
Well,
a
he
douchebag,
died,
and
so
he's in, like,
that's
one
okay.
episode.
He died. All right.
That's it.
That was really scary.
No, it's not it.
No, that's not it.
Isn't
It's
that
4
4
to 2.
points, Thaden?
It's 4 to 2,
Is it 4? Oh,
and they both have a question.
whatever.
So this
Yeah.
can be tied.
I don't care. You all suck.
Oh man, have fun with this one.
Oh, this.
Okay, Thaden. I attended the Jedi Praxium on Yavin 4. I bullied and even killed another Jedi student. I was killed by a young Jedi after joining the Empire Reborn.
Okay, I'm not gonna know the name for sure. So multiple choice.
Is it Rax Jorish, Desan, Gaelic Friar, or Relo Baruch?
Fuck.
That's not an option.
There was a second one that was one word. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Desan.
I'm going with that one.
That is correct. I can't believe that.
Oh,
You definitely
It
didn't
sounded-
know. You definitely
it
didn't know
sounded vaguely familiar.
These
more
are all
than the
real
other
characters.
Ones,
These are
no.
all real characters, and they're all from around the same one, and several of them are from the same
Desan
game.
was the correct character, really?
Yes.
Oh,
He's
I didn't know that was his
Yeah.
He
background.
almost looks like
I know
Pon,
he's in
He almost looks like
Outcast.
Pon Krell, but he's skinnier and only has 2 arms, but he has like the same head shape. And
Yeah, I know he's in Jedi Outcast.
You know what?
You
I
kill him
was-
at the end, I think. but-
So when I did this category, I was like, okay, well, I have to pick from 3 different eras and different games. Like, I can't just fit them all in the same game, so that people who have played different games can have different chances. And
I can't believe I got all of them.
They'd got one right.
I've
That
only
was-
played one of the
he
games
had no-
ever.
And this was the reason why I said, like, oh, fuck,
I
Thayden,
think.
you're fucked. Because Sean's going to kill you. But you did really well.
What was my
You
last
all
question?
Suck.
Your last question. I attempted to kill Palpatine. I was poisoned. I was ordered to be cloned after my death.
And
I know who it is.
Oh, man, I would love Thayden to answer
5,
this one.
4, 3,
I got no idea.
2.
This is really good.
Okay, go on, Thayden.
Get the Zillow Beast.
It is the Zillow Beast. He goes after Palpatine all
That's
episode.
pretty good.
Since
That's a
we're
good one.
finding out how crappy our last
That's
question,
pretty
I'd like to know what mine was.
Okay.
And he was poisoned. Fuck, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's okay. Give him the last question that he had. Oh wait, you missed 2, right?
No, 1.
No,
No,
I
Just
missed
one. Oh wait. Okay.
He
All
got
right.
the set of the
Tommy,
first
give
and
him his
second.
3rd question.
Johnny's question?
Yeah, the third
Johnny's 3rd one. Yeah.
Sure. You would have gotten this one, I think. As a Jedi Master, I was the leader of the Army of Light. I share my name with a planet. I was killed by the thought bomb. Who am I?
You got that one already, didn't you?
No.
No.
The other one was
This-
also Bane,
was
but that was
Bane's-
Giffany. And this one, I think, is... Oh, God. It's Hoth, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, you're
Yes.
supposed to put the easy question first, not last.
That's not the rule.
You still would have scored 2. And
I
I think
barely
Sean
even
scored
know how to do
4,
the
and
time.
Thayden scored
I'm
5.
not saying I would have won, but you're supposed to put the easy question first, not the hardest question first. You went backwards.
Barely even know how to do the time.
Oh,
Good job, Tom.
wow.
If you flip the first and the third question, it's good because the second one
I thought these were good questions.
they were.
You know what? The
I
Django
love
the
them.
Django one was the last one I did, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't know how to word this so that he won't get it."
You all
then
suck.
didn't,
I
he
hate.
got it.
I
love
hate.
Frank Riker's
I
answers
hate
in the
literature.
chat. Darth, Anna Montana, Spock, Abraham Lincoln, and Jupiter.
I hate literature.
After they bring back Darth Maul and I quit the show, you can just put Frank Riker in there. He's pretty entertaining.
Well, congratulations to Thaden on becoming the new trivia champion.
So you really are Buster Douglas. Win it and then lose it in your next defense.
Yeah, it's like Bret Hart when he lost to Psycho Sid.
Oof.
Yeah,
but you know the difference though? Bret had won the belt multiple times before that. You haven't.
Yeah,
Oh.
well,
So right now you're more like Buster Douglas.
Oh my God.
true.
We should get out of here, Johnny. He's going to kick us out.
Where can everybody find you boys at? Kieran, Thaden, Rogue Sons, guys.
I do
Rogue
still
Sun.
post a lot of comments, a lot of fun stuff on Rogue Sons of Star Wars podcast, and we do plan on having a new episode ASAP.
Yeah, we gotta figure out how to do it digitally because quarantine stuff. But once we get that done, we can probably do it weekly again.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good time.
We're not
What
as
you're looking
smart
for
as
is remotely because it's always digital.
Sean runs all this shit, so I don't know how to do this.
I forgot the word,
Yeah.
Johnny.
But yeah, you can find us there. You can find us on the Empire Den. I'm on lots of the Halloween shows now too, because I also love that shit. So yeah, and I just want to say I really love our fans. Super love our fans.
But no chubbies, right?
I get a chubby just thinking about my fan. No, I. Oh my God, are we on air? Are we on the air here?
Weird.
We're all fair, right?
Wow.
And immediately
Alrighty.
Frank Riker. Great show, guys.
Yeah, he loved that probably.
Tommy, where can everybody find you at, bud?
Find me hanging around our Facebook groups and pages. Check out the Phantom Empire Den, the channel's Facebook group. Check out all of our other groups, Future of Star Wars, Future of Halloween. If you want to find me personally on our platforms, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TommyB1650.
Awesome stuff, man. Johnny V, where can everybody find you at, man?
You can find me in the sci-fi section of the local library, boning up on my Star Wars literature.
Okay, we get it. Yes, and we know we can find you on a Twitter that you seldomly use, blah, 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 blah. All right, thanks for everything.
That's at Fandom_McMahon on the Twitter that I seldom use.
And you just quadruple dipped the chip. You didn't even just double dip it. You like quadruple dipped it. And now
Look
you're
at him go.
Yeah, look at him.
This is getting
That's
really
for
weird.
our weird food fetish fans. We
This
need more
is
fans.
the after party, Sean.
Getting weird.
Yeah,
now,
after
guys.
something, the way Kieran's tongue was working that. Jeez. Alrighty. You can check us out at the following places on Facebook, the Phantom Empire Den, or Facebook pages, Phantom Empire, Halloween Kills 2020, Supernatural Revisited, and or The Future of Halloween. On Instagram, it's Fandom Empire Now and Star Wars IRB, and on Twitter, it's at Fandom Empire Now and Star Wars IRB. For Tommy, Thaden, Kieran, and Johnny, and for Frank Riker and Toronto Freddy, who stopped by today in the chat, I'm Sean.
Intel Wild in there too.
Intel Wild was a generous super chat earlier, too. Thanks, buddy. I'm Sean, and this was the Imperial Remnant broadcast. We'll catch you next week after what's going to be apparently the shortest episode of Bando yet, or one of them. Good night.